Hello, I'm Full Paragon, and this is the Konofan Global Tier List update for February 2023. First up, let's go over the new units that have been added to the tier list. The first will be the Casual banner, which is already out. Casual Matsumoto is a pretty strong Earth unit with debuff block and gauge fill. He's going to go into A tier, he's very good. The same goes for Casual Leah. She's the first elemental buffer, and she's just generally a strong character. Leah has great ults and an overall stellar kit. This one provides two very strong buffs. She'll go into A tier. She might wind up in S tier. We'll have to see how it shakes out once Chris comes. Coming very soon, we have the Overlord banners. The first one will feature Kazuma, Darkness, and the big Papa Skeleton, Ainz Ulgon. Kazuma isn't very good, he's just here to be a sub for Ainz. As mages will rule dark meta, he'll go into B tier. While Darkness is quite strong, just as good as Festival Darkness in many ways, save for her untyped basic, unfortunately Ainz's mage team is just better, so she'll go into B tier. As for Big Bone Daddy himself, he's an incredibly strong unit who will define the meta until Festival arrives, S tier. The second banner has Megumin, Shaltir, and Albedo. Megumin is unfortunately a unit who is in decline overall in the meta, with the advent of many new abilities that kind of push her out of many teams. This is also just not a very good example, and she competes with Re:Zero Megumin, who continues to be the best Megumin. She'll go into C tier. Shaltir, however, is quite strong. She has a transformation ultimate like Darkness's. She's only good for a few months. Once we get Festival Union and Festival Iris, she'll fall off sharply, but she'll be S tier until they arrive. The welfare unit Albedo is incredibly weak. She'll go into C tier and never see any use at all. But now we need to talk about someone important, the one true queen of the meta. Yes, after 16 months, the queen is dead. Long live the queen. Maid Megumin has fallen. Arena really no longer needs or wants Maid Megumin every time. With the addition of weakness debuffers and trait slaves, teams just no longer have space for her with the new mechanics that we have. She's still viable for now, but not for much longer. Rest in pieces, our eternal meta queen. Now let me tell you about Festival Chris. Just kidding, she's not out yet, so we'll talk about Maid Leah first instead. Maid Leah is our new meta-dominant unit. She's not going into the meta queen category, I had to create a new one just for Chris, but Maid Leah is incredibly good. She will completely dominate the meta and see usage cross multiple elements for a very long time to come. The other really great unit who is shining now is Festival Megumin. She's the new best Megumin because of her steroids for all Crimson Demons. Sometimes she'll just be a trait slave in the back, other times you'll run her up front for that nice juicy railgun or explosion. It just kind of depends. The other good units are Kazuma in Butler form. He's not actually good so much as he's a trait slave who works well in the back. Sometimes you'll use him, sometimes you'll use Festival Megumin, it just kinda depends. Christmas Wiz continues to be very strong and she'll remain meta for at least a little while to come, which is really impressive for a unit that's well over a year old. Halloween Union is another old unit who's still performing quite well. The new shot in the arm she got with Festival Megumin steroids really helps her out, and the same is true for Komeko. Along with her typed basic and the weakness debuff, she's just a very strong option to be running on your team. The last good unit to run is the Martial Arts Mitsurugi. He's very strong with some cooldown cut, and of course his nice ultimate that buffs and heals. A lot of units are starting to fall off now, though Bell is still kind of good. Units like Snow Mitsurugi and Halloween Iris, along with original flavor Megumin, just don't hold up anymore and won't see much use going forward. The fire meta will remain firmly mage-based, although there is a physical team that can be viable, as we're seeing in this current arena. As for the water meta, it's quite stagnant. Godqua, Ninja Chris, and Swimsuit Erica will continue to be the best options in water for quite some time to come. Who you run with them? Kinda depends. Sometimes you'll run Valentine's Iris with them, or maybe you'll go for something else, like perhaps an off-element Leah to add some extra buffing. It just depends on the arena and what your personal roster is, but water will remain water trio territory for a good while. As for lightning, I severely underestimated how good Kenpo Rin would be with her cooldown cut, and because of the way they've changed how ultimates work. Her ultimate will now buff physical and mage units, so she goes perfectly well with the top dogs in the element, namely Kazuma and Mel, or even Yunyun. Kazuma and Mel continue to be the best units in element, Kazuma thanks to his very strong abilities, and of course his typed basic as a festival unit, while Mel has weakness and a typed ultimate, and it just goes supremely well. Union's typed ultimate will continue to allow her to see usage, and Iris will show up on occasion as a last-second swap-in. Earth is Vanir territory, and because of that, mages are actually doing pretty good here. Chris is still an incredibly viable unit, but Vanir is the one who really defines the element. They do go well together. Again, the changes to how ultimates work benefit them both greatly here. You'll also see some Onsen Mel, but the new unit you'll see around is Casual Mitsurugi. He's not the best with Vanir, but if you need debuff block, he's the go-to guy, which is why we've seen School Leah fall down. If you're gonna use a Leah, it'll probably end up being Maid Leah. She's just that good. The Sword Princess continues her domination of the wind element, along with Idol Kazuma as the weakness enabler for her strategy. You will start to see some of Casual Leah with them. While she's not as good at healing as Godqua is, she can either provide some much needed survivability with her damage cut ultimate, or her cooldown cut and healing on her second ultimate are also quite good here. Those three are the units to watch in wind. You'll probably see PJ Melissa show up as a trait slave, and the last slot will probably be Godqua, depending on what the arena requirements are. As for the light element, yes, Maid Megumin has fallen down to A tier from where she used to reside in the Meta Queen tier. She just can't stack up anymore. While she's a great option in light for wave clear, light doesn't always need that anymore. Shaltir is the new darling in light. She's incredibly strong, and she'll push Aqua and Darkness down a little bit as she's stronger than both of them. Light Mitsurugi had a very brief moment in the sun, but frankly Matsumoto just can't hold a candle to the rest of the very strong units in light, so he's going to be seeing less and less usage. You'll probably be using Maid Leah with the light team, and you'll on occasion use Idol Meru in the last slot. A lot of these characters do a lot of physical damage, so she's not quite as good as a trait slave, but she'll get the job done if you have room for her. Then we have the dark element. Maid Amy is pretty much kaput. She doesn't work well with Ainz, as Ainz can heal himself, much like Wiz, but will take damage from healing, so no need for Amy anymore. Instead, he's best buddies with Festival Union, and we might see some usage of Aru. You'll probably throw in Maid Leah as well, as she's just a great unit and will complement the weaknesses of mages, providing survivability and an agility buff that they desperately would like to have. That leads to a tier list that looks like this for the absolute top of the meta. These are the units I expect to see the most usage. And at the very top will go Festival Chris. She'll be run in the banner directly after the second Overlord banner, but she won't show up to March, so we'll do a deep dive on her then. More and more old favorites are falling down into the off-meta category. Old favorites like Amelia, or even the original dagger meta of Melissa, just can't cut it anymore. They're falling down into the weak category, as newer units are just way stronger than anything they could hope to do. Unfortunately, some new units like Albedo end up here. She's probably the worst welfare unit we'll get, and she's just not worth using at all. That's the video. Thanks for watching. I'm still not feeling the best, so there won't be any streams anytime soon, but since I'm not feeling the best, I'm stuck at home, so there'll be a few more video guides coming out soon.